make sure you've had a thorough warm-up prior to doing this class again. We're going to be working through the whole of the spine, different sections. We've obviously got some immovable parts like the coccyx and the sacrum, but most of it is movable, so we have to actually move the spine. If we don't move it, then you start to lose the range of movement that your spine is supposed to go into. So we've got our cervical spine, we've got our thoracic spine, and we've also got our lumbar spine. These are the places that we're going to concentrate today. And the different movements of the spine are flexion, extension, side flexion, and rotation. So these are the points that we're going to really hit, and we're going to hit every single part of the spine here, which is really good, and it'll keep it healthy, and it'll also make you move more efficiently as well in the long run. Make sure you've had a good warm-up, like I said, and I want you to take your hands down towards your thighs, drawing the shoulders back, so lock back slightly, draw the chin in, and create this postural position straight away. And I want you to roll the neck through in an anti-clockwise fashion. You probably feel these different points of tightness. Keep it slow and controlled again. Come back round the other way. If you want to, and get a bit of a stretch underneath the chin, squeeze your jaws as you come up. And come back down, release off. Squeeze your jaw. Come back down. Alright, come towards the central point. I want you to drop your head over towards the right shoulder. Bring your right hand up and place it on your head, so you're not pulling down into the stretcher, just letting your hand rest on the top of your head, on the side, on the left hand side of your head here, depends on how far you're getting over. And I want you to start to breathe into the stretch. And you'll slowly feel it move deeper into the left hand side, especially if you're drawing down that left shoulder, because you're pulling away the attachment points of the upper traps. Goes right into the skull, so this feels really intense if you spend a long period of time here. Keep over there. Back up towards the central point. Take one, turn around the head over towards the left hand side, other hand onto the head. Draw the shoulders down again. Breathe into it. Few more breaths. Wind round the head once. Come back towards the central point. Interlink your fingers on the back of the head and draw the chin down towards the chest. But keep a nice erect spine as you're doing this. Don't slump through. Feel stretch straight through the neck, the rear of the body. You might even feel it straight down in between the traps as well, in between the shoulder blades. Slowly raise towards the top. Now rather than going to the side or the front, pick this diagonal angle. So turn the head slightly, draw the chin down towards the chest as if you're looking down at your right pec. Hand onto the back of the head, and then again keep that posture there. It'll feel like it's hitting another spot. I usually like this for a levitator scap, one of the muscles that helps with scapular stability and the movement of the scapula. Inhale and exhale there. Sometimes this can take over if you've got a dysfunction through how you're moving through your shoulders, then this might be really tight because it's maybe doing a job that it shouldn't be doing. Back up towards the top, give the head a wind round. Probably will feel really not that nice from doing these, but in the long run, it's good, trust me. Head comes down towards the left hand side. Same stretch opposite side. Start moving into our side flexion next, which is actually another test that I haven't showed you before, and I'll show you how you can test that from a standing position. Come back up towards the top, give the head a wind round one more time. And this is how you can test for side flexion. Just before we go on, maybe feel through the front of your feet there again. To test for side flexion, hands down by the sides. Imagine you've got a pane of glass to the front and the rear, and you go down to one side. Now see where you get to. Get someone to mark, or take a picture. Go down to the other side. Ooh. See if there's any difference from left to right. And then obviously by the end of, if you're doing the Rangefinder course, then see if you can improve on that on the left and the right hand side and through side flexion. Take your hand to the back of your head, interlink the fingers, pull the elbows back so you open up through the chest, and then flex over towards that right hand side. Try not to let the elbow drop in, try and pull the elbow out, really focus upon that, and that'll allow you to open up through the side body a little bit more. Take an inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Feel it release. Inhale, exhale. One more. Up towards the top. Rotate round towards the left hand side. Pull the right elbow back this time. It's really important, you know, we're trying to actually increase flexibility here, but at the same time, you want to be trying to find strength through the full range of movement. If you've got strength through full range of movement, you've got a lot less prone to injury. So it's good to spend time in these positions where you're not just hanging off the muscle, but you're holding in an outer range position, because that will bring you a really deep sense of strength through the body. Come back up towards the top. Now come into a cross-legged position. Like I say in all my classes, make yourself comfortable. And the reason why we're doing this is that it locks the hips into place, and we're trying to keep the seat bones ground into the floor. So if you need a little bit of a raise, then stick a pillow underneath your bum. But you're trying to keep the hips tilted forwards to keep that nice erect spine. I'm going to bring my right hand down towards the right hand side, and then I'm going to come round. Imagine I'm trying to touch this right hand. That might be a big stretch already, but then I'm going to open up like so. I'm going to touch down, twist, up, down 5 times. That's 3, 4, and then on the 5th one, we're just going to stay over there. And what I want you to think about here is keeping this left bum cheek on the floor. Don't let it lift up, because that's you not locking in through the hips. We're getting through side flexion as much as we can here. Twist it towards the sky slightly, and you can use this bottom hand just to control how much weight you're getting through the side of the body. Twist round towards the left hand side. Right hand comes round, touch, rotate up, touch, rotate, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th again, stay over there, keep that right cheek ground down, tilt the pelvis laterally, move it away. Get a huge stretch down this lateral line of the body, the outside of the body. Couple more breaths there, draw that elbow back, and then sweep round towards the front. Work through a bit of forward flexion, so walk the hands out towards the front, drop the head, come back up towards the top. We'll be exploring that in a second. Right hand comes behind, left hand comes to the outside of the knee. Create this twist in motion. Exhale as you come round, back round, opposite side. See how much difference there is there. If you look at me here, if I inhale, look how much I get there. Now look how much I do when I exhale. significant difference. And this is what I've used about. Right, round towards the central point. We're going to spend a little bit longer over there, but we're just going to use the breath whilst we're there. So we inhale, exhale round, inhale, exhale round, inhale, exhale round, round to the other side, inhale, exhale round. You might find, like, keep going with that breath, you might find that it feels like muscles are going to cramp up because they're in their inner range, they're not used to being here, which it'll feel like they want to cramp up at first, but it will start to get easier as your body gets used to being in these positions. Come back round towards the central point, both hands onto your knees, and then just rotate round with the chest. Don't really worry about the position of your spine in this part, but we will be changing it up in a second, working through a bit more flexion, a little bit more extension of the spine. And I want you to think about that now. So as you come forwards, try and tilt the pelvis, show your chest towards the front and exhale. Inhale, tuck underneath, tuck, tuck, tuck. Exhale through. Keep going out there, I'm going to show you from a side view. So flat back, rounded back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Come back round the other way, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Alright, bring your feet in front of you. You're going to work through flexion of the spine here. And there's a couple of important points because you can just put your head down here, you don't really get anything from it. But what you can do is you can create a little bit more pressure, and I bring my hands, I cry, chop them into the back of my legs, and I'm literally pulling my hands that way into my legs to create a rounding of my spine. I'm going to place my forehead onto my knees and imagine I'm trying to slide my forehead down towards my groin. So I'm pushing away and pulling in. You get this full flexion of the spine. Inhale and exhale. Nice intense through the mid-back. One more. And come over onto your knees. And we're going to do very similar. We're going to interlink the fingers behind one knee this time. So you go one knee and you drop your head down towards your knee. And you try to drop your heels down towards, or your bum down towards your heels. And you try to think about someone pulling up through the point that you want to stretch. So imagine you're pulling up through this point that you want to stretch through. And you get even more rounded in the back there. Lift up there for a second, take your hands onto your back, just create a little bit of extension, a counter stretch. Forward flexion is usually not that great for people who've got like disc issues, so try to stay, especially not pressing yourself into these positions. It's like a posterior disc bulge. For people who've got like this mechanical low back pain, which really just means that a lot of the time it's muscular, then you can get some really good stretches and a lot of progression from what we're doing here. Coming back onto the knees, we're going to create a little bit of rotation again. Right hand towards the outside of the left leg, rotate round, left hand to the rear. Inhale up, exhale round to right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Up towards the top. Now we've got a camel pose. Camel pose is more of an advanced movement, so there's a few different levels of this. You can just go like we did before, squeezing and tucking underneath of the pelvis, and create a little bit of a backward bend, and that's good to start off with just to warm you into this place. So just spend a couple of seconds there and try and retract the head. Don't let the head yank upwards. Retract the head in and back up towards the top point. Next level can be here. So you're trying to walk one hand back onto one heel. Maybe that is enough for you through one side. You can just go between the two. If you want to increase it a bit more, you can come back and you're drawing, but you shouldn't be having this pinch and feeling or feeling like it's too much for you. And you can go into the flat position as well, but again, that's for people who are again a little bit more advanced, and you're squeezing and tucking. You've got that tension through the spine at all times into this camel pose. And then come up and we're going to child's pose. So keep narrow knee, stretch the arms out, just spend a couple of breaths there and count the stretch away from the extension that we're in. Walk the hands around to the right hand side. So you should get again a good stretch through the side of the body. Rotate up towards the sky. So you exhale. Well done. Keep going round. Opposite side. Feel the body start to open up now. You've been working through so many different positions. Like I said here, walk the hands around, but don't let your bum come off your heels. And then if you want to increase the stretch, just have a peek underneath the knee side armpit and rotate the body upwards. And just keep there. Going to work into a little bit of thoracic extension for this next one. So we come down onto our elbows. Hands are directly in front of the elbows. Elbows underneath the shoulders. And you've probably seen this before, Sphinx pose. But a lot of the time people do this to try and yank the head back, and they get most of the extension through the lower back. We want to try and aim. You can literally find wherever you want in the spine for extension if you really connect in and move the body. And this is where we start to learn about moving our body and just manipulating it very slightly to hit the exact point that you want to. Every single time that you get onto the mat, it should be a learning process about your own body, about how you can just make these little subtle adjustments and then find what you want to find. So from there, I want to squeeze and tuck and push through the fronts of my feet, and I'm going to draw my shoulders back. Now you might feel that already in the mid-back. A little bit of a strengthener as well at the same time. Now, I can usually look up like this, and that's what a lot of people do in the hyperextend the cervical spine. But what I want to do is I want to do this, retract. Feel the mid-back start to get hit here. Release off, retract. A little bit like a chicken pecking. Keep tucking underneath of the pelvis. You'll build a fair bit of strength through the lower and mid traps here as well, and the paraspinals, the muscles down either side of the spine that create a lot of stability for posture. And just hold there, breathe into it. Knees up, come into child's pose again there for a bit of a counter stretch. I'm going to do two more poses. So we've got scorpion and then a little bit of gentle mobilization to finish off in a rotational manner. We've been locking in the bottom half of the body and moving the top half, so working a lot of upper thoracic, and we'll move towards lower thoracic when we go to the rotations on our back. And this will help as well. This is one of my favourite stretches, scorpion stretch. It stretches not just, doesn't just mobilise through the back, but it stretches off through the chest and through the front side of the body. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to show you the setup position. I've got a 90-degree angle on this front arm,
I'm not up here, I'm not down here with the arm, 90 degrees. And this other hand is going flat, and it can control how I rotate. But what I'm going to try and do is try and lock this left shoulder down into the floor, turn over to the right hand side with my head, and then I'm going to push away and I'm going to try and rotate my body over the top. And you'll get a big stretch through the chest here. So you open it up through the chest, you're breathing in and out. If you want to create more of a stretch, then just bring this leg over and you come into scorpion stretch for obvious reasons. So looks like a scorpion's tail, I guess. 3 more breaths there. Come round. And I prefer having my arm in this position rather than outstretched, because it hits the place that people are most likely to be tied through, their pec minor. Set up on the opposite side. Ground that right shoulder into the floor, 90 degrees on that right hand. Left hand's flattened, so you can see a little bit of a better view here of this side. Rotate over the top. Don't worry if you don't get as much rotation as me. Again, obviously I've been doing this for a fair bit of time, so my flexibility through most of my joints is pretty good. But I've still got a lot of work to do in certain areas. For me, hamstrings are always a place, and glutes. Maybe because I do a fair bit of running as well. Bring the leg over the top if you want to. Moving towards the end of this class now. Always try and push away, create a little bit more rotation there. You should feel that down the front of the thigh to an oblique sling stretch. Onto your back, arms out towards the side. Drop the knees over to one side. We've done this before. We're going to do a little bit of an adjustment. Last one. Keep the shoulders grounded into the floor again. Come to the top point. Bring your right foot over. If you can, try and create this binding of the legs. It's like eagle legs. And you're going to drop the legs over again. Arms are out to the side. And you can actually create a little bit more rotation by pushing with this knee onto the other. So it's pushing this right hand side down, which is again causing more rotation through the spine. And you can inhale, loosen off, exhale, push. 3 of them. 1 more. And back up to the top. Feed the legs over again. Last stretch of the class. I've got a crack through my back there. Working as your own sort of chiropractor. You should be feeling this progression through the body already, just from we've targeted so much musculature, so many joints in the body, and this is just the first week. When we start moving into deeper stretches, developmental stretches in week 2, you really start to feel a difference there, but it's quite uncomfortable as well at the same time. So do be a little bit more prepared for that. Pull them with both knees, and then rock up to the top. Well done.